A new Patriots free agent target has just been revealed as an insider looks at the wide receiver options still available on the free agency market and labels one to be a great fit for the Patriots, especially with the latest update on A.J. Brown. Welcome to Patriots Digest, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. Hope you're having a great day wherever you might be. Got lots to discuss, lots to break down, but before that, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who has hit that subscribe button over the past week. We recently hit 10,000 subs here on Patriots Digest, and I could not do it without each and every single one of you. I really, really do appreciate you, and the content, it's going to keep flowing. So let's get right into it with an interesting report from NESN. Now, of course, the Patriots still looking to help out their offensive depth, especially in the wide receiver room. You've got Kayshon Boutte and Romeo Doubs alongside Matt Collins, but if you ask any Patriots fan or any Patriots front office member, you would expect to hear that they plan or expect to get some more help in that wide receiver room. Well, that's where NESN comes in with this report, saying the Patriots had signed this wide receiver after the latest A.J. Brown update. Now, of course, A.J. Brown is an ongoing situation and changes every day. Yesterday, Mike Vrable said he wouldn't rule it out. Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni said that this was something they're going to look at, but not actually consider. And of course, we have the whole report coming out today about Jalen Hurts and how he's maybe not exactly the greatest teammate for the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown has kind of just gone on the back burner in that slight. So with the Patriots understanding that, they need to fill out the wide receiver room a little more, and this free agent target would actually be a very, very good fit. Now, before we get too far into today's video, I want to let you know that we are now brought to you by PrizePicks, and I cannot be more excited about this partnership. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports pick app and is the best way to get you in the action. If you use code DIGEST, you're going to get some extra money right off the bat. I promise you, it's the best way to get your picks, and it's a great way to put yourself in the action. We're going to give you some picks for this upcoming NFL season, but they have MLB, they have NBA, they have NHL. Lots going on PrizePicks. We'll tell you more about them later on. Okay, so what exactly is this upcoming free agent wide receiver that we're going to look at? Well, we can take a first look at who's left on the market. The top guy, at least in market value, is Jauan Jennings. Then there's Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, Stefon Diggs, who has not exactly been ruled out of the Patriots conversations. I find him returning to New England very unlikely, but as Eliot said recently, it's not something that is impossible to happen. And so, well, that's where we go to the report, kind of talking about A.J. Brown and where to go from here. Aliana Mohammed of New England Sports Network saying this. However, at the league's annual meeting, Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni both noted that Brown is a member of the Eagles, implying they are not trying to trade him. Now, to me, I'm not going to be done with A.J. Brown until the fat lady sings, and the fat lady being Nick Sirianni. Until he's fired, I don't know what to expect from him. Howie Roseman, I do trust. He's a good GM, and I think him saying the options are open is definitely there. But as for the Patriots, it seems like they also have kind of lost touch with that. In fact, we got this from Up and Adams a couple of days ago when she interviewed Eliot at the owners' meetings, and it was basically, the conversation was, hey, we haven't had a talk with the Eagles about A.J. Brown in a long time. Now, this is kind of a double entendre, though, because, yeah, of course, why would you when the trade's not going to go through until June 1st, and there's nothing that you can do right now to make that trade happen. So that's where I think there's a lot of things to set it. However, with that all to be said, you still need to kind of work around this offensive depth chart and, again, figure out what you want to do in the wide receiver room. Well, that's where Aliana Mohammed again comes in and says this. If Brown is off the table and the Patriots still want a wide receiver, they should go after Jauan Jennings. In 2024, Jennings was 25 yards short of a 1,000-yard season and was ejected in the San Francisco 49ers' final game of the season. Last season, he had 643 yards and 9 touchdowns. And while we haven't really talked about Jauan Jennings that much, just because the price tag seems a little bit too far for the player you're getting and for what the Patriots are looking for, but I mean, I got to be honest, I think it's not a bad idea to at least explore for Eliot and the Patriots. Now, does that mean they should go after him? I'm not going to go as far to put that in the median, but I do think he is a very good wide receiver. 15 games, 55 receptions across 643 receiving yards last year. Not to mention, he had a lot of good underlying statistics behind him. Now, Do I think he is worth the $22 million a year that he is getting projected on Spotrac? No, but if he's getting closer to the $15 million range across 3 years, I would not mind having a wide receiver room filled with Kayshon Boutte, Romeo Doubs, and Jauan Jennings over the next 3 years to 4 years. Obviously, Matt Collins is in the final year of his contract, so we'll see how that finishes out. But besides the point, I do think this is actually a wide receiver that I wouldn't mind going out there and exploring. Again, I'm not saying this is somebody that I'm like, oh yeah, let's go out, let's make a huge offer to this guy. That's not where I'm going. But 9 touchdowns across 15 games with the receiving yards he had, and again, in a pretty talented offense. He became the number 1 wide receiver a couple times last year, given the situations with Pearsall. Of course, Ayuk just basically a non-factor. And so I ask you the question of, would you like the Patriots to sign Jauan Jennings? If you would, then I want you to type S for sign. If you think this is something you would not like the Patriots to do, then I want you to type P for pass. Let me know your 2 thoughts or your 2 cents down in the comments section. I wouldn't mind it for the right price. I think I want to make that very apparent. Do I like Jauan Jennings? For sure. Am I going to sit here and say that they should sign him because of this, this, and this? No, I'm not going to go as far to say that. But ultimately, I do think it is something that the Patriots can, well, just take themselves, put into a good situation, and then I might be a little bit more on board with it. I think that point you could probably make it out to be a good signing and something that can really help, especially since the wide receiver room, again, is an interesting spot. Which, by the way, speaking of the wide receiver room, mentioned PrizePicks. Here are my picks for this upcoming 2026 NFL season. I've got the more on Drake Maye in passing yards. He threw for 4,000 yards last year. No way he's not getting over 3,600. I know Stefon's not there, but again, even if you take out Stefon's yardage from last year, Drake Maye is still about that area, and they got Romeo Doubs, who I'm also going to take more on. I think he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver at this point, and so I'm taking more at the point. And then Myles Garrett is at 14 sacks on PrizePicks. That's basically a free pick right there on the more, so I'm going to immediately take that more. 14 sacks, he had 23 last year. Not a chance he doesn't end up with that. Again, we're going to have a link in the description for you can sign up and get some extra money. Of course, using that code DIGEST will also work as well. It really helps out the channel, guys, so I'd really appreciate it if you get out there and sign up. I'm doing my picks every day. I'm also looking at NBA and MLB, so if you want to hear those, I'll get some more of those throughout this month. Let's go talk about Jauan Jennings' underlying statistics. I keep bringing up how he is this almost perfect fit in a way. Or not perfect fit, but like fit that people don't really realize. And I think the underlying statistics are hard to kind of understand in a way, but I keep going back to that 2024 season. He was a guy who stepped up for the 49ers when they called upon him. He was somebody who performed well, having just under 1,000 yards, and his PFF grade was at 83.1, the best of his career, by nearly 10 points. I mean, that's a pretty solid number right there. Now, is that the same case for the past other 4 years of his NFL career? No, but he's still relatively young. He's got a lot of good things. I think there is a lot of things you could like about him. A round 7 selection, the way he's playing. Again, if it's $20 million, I don't see that deal being a worthwhile thing. If the price tag goes down to 15, 14, 16 even, I would be willing to go. I might be able to do that, especially given the guaranteed money. Could structure it as a similar kind of Stefon Diggs deal where we get you this year, and then we kind of work around from that. But in terms of his overall seasons, the past 2 years have by far been the best. 975 in 2024, 643 in 2025. The prior years, he didn't even have a combined 1,000 yards, or if he did, it was, oh no, he didn't have, he might have just gotten close, but he did not get to the 1,000 yards in the first 3 seasons. Touchdowns also went up, having 6 last year, 9 this past year. There are just things that you can see from his, I guess, growth that you can obviously, point to. Ultimately, at this point, it's not worth the $22 million, and that's my biggest kind of gripe with this. However, I am all for ideas, and I do think that Jennings will be available after June 1st. So I continuously kind of talk about the wide receiver room and how make this move, do this, do that. Personally, in my mind, I think it's a lot about we're going to wait until June 1st. We'll see about the draft, but we're going to wait until June 1st. If A.J. Brown's still off the table at that point, or it's too high in price at that point, then we're going to figure out something from there. But until that point, I think we might just sit still. And I don't mind that ideology. I don't think it's a bad ideology to have. and I'm just hopeful that it works out one way or another. Whether we trade for A.J. Brown or sign somebody worthwhile, I'll take either or. But that is all we got for you here today. We do appreciate you watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And if you're excited about a new sponsor here on Patriots Digest, do me a favor and type PrizePicks in the comment section. I'm going to like and respond to every single one of those. So I do appreciate all of my day one real ones. For now, though, we appreciate you, and peace out.